Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. Guys, thank you so much for an incredible year, a year I will never ever forget. I say this because in this year I've had the honor of meeting so many wonderful fans of Descendants and Zombies and shared in a passion with everybody that has brought everybody that much closer together. Thank you so much for always subscribing, always showing a never-ending love and support for this YouTube channel, because I never thought this YouTube channel would have such an incredible reach. I've had the honor of meeting so many wonderful fans who have been brought that much closer together because of Descendants and Zombies, and you had better believe this story is far from over. I've never wanted to discourage anybody's hopes and dreams of Descendants and Zombies, and sitting in this chair every single day has become the greatest honor of my life. I know it's just me talking about Descendants and Zombies or recording a reaction video, but I have a greater appreciation and a passion for Descendants and Zombies unlike anybody else that you've ever seen on YouTube, because I can record hundreds of videos about Descendants and Zombies. And the question I get all the time from fans is, Jonathan Clarke, how are you able to make so many wonderful videos about Descendants and Zombies? The answer to that question is simple. I just love talking about Descendants and Zombies, and I love being in your guys' presence, because there's an honor and a prestige that goes with making friends and spreading the honor of friendship and showing everybody how valuable a friendship actually is. That's why I commend Clarke and Malia Baker so much, and why I believe more people know who they are now, because of the value of friendship being brought forth by Clarke and Malia Baker. Because you not only see it on the set of Descendants, but you see it off the set of Descendants, and they have been there for each other every step of the way. For every moment of significance in their lives, they have been there for each other. And they've shared in each other's laughs, shared in each other's passion. That's so incredible. Together we've cried together, we've laughed together because of Descendants and Zombies, and we are that much closer together. We've formed what I like to refer to as an unbreakable bond. And it's the greatest gift of my life and the greatest honor of my life, becoming a fan of Descendants and Zombies, getting the honor to meet each and every one of you for your passions about Descendants and Zombies. And I know there are people out there that are very passionate about Descendants and Zombies, perhaps more passionate than I've ever been about anything having to do with Disney. But the thing I notice about Descendants and Zombies so much is this unbreakable bond that Kylie and Ruby and Malia share, because they've been there every step of the way for everybody's life. And that's so cool how every time we turn around, Kylie Control is always uploading something on social media saying, hey guys, don't forget about me, I'm still here. I love seeing her videos every morning. Years ago, Ellen DeGeneres used to host this talk show, The Ellen DeGeneres Show. And every morning before her show, she used to post something on social media. And what I remembered Ellen for and gave her tremendous credit for and reviewed Ellen because of was because Ellen would always post something positive. Her messages of positivity were something I couldn't go without. The things that Jessica Simpson would post years ago, or Lindsay Lohan would post years ago, were things I couldn't do without. And the thing was, people would criticize Lindsay for forever, but the thing was, Lindsay loved her fans so much. Ellen loved her fans so much. And I wish more celebrities would post more messages of positive vibes and positivity, because they would get greater reviews and people would know more about them. But because of each and every one of you and your passion for Kylie Control, more people know who Kylie Control is. And this is exactly what I wanted to have happen for Kylie, because at 20 years old, Kylie still has a long way to go, which means she's still figuring out her place in the world. And that's what I love about Kylie so much, is that she's so curious, and she just wants to be a part of everything and have everybody around her. She wants to surround herself with her friends, and she never ever wants her friends to leave her side. But what Kylie's got to understand is her greatest friends are each and every one of us, because we've never left Kylie's side. And every single time Kylie cries because she misses her friends or she's upset about how her life may be going, that's the thing about life. We never know what direction life is going to take us in. Do you think 20 years ago I thought that I'd be sitting here in this chair talking about Descendants and Zombies with each and every one of you and have that honor? No, I most certainly didn't. But I wanted to create something on YouTube. I wanted to be seen and heard on YouTube more than anything else in my life. And that's what Descendants and Zombies gave me the honor to do, the chance to do, be seen by a global audience and have such an incredible reach, and was able to touch the hearts of so many wonderful people with each and every one of these videos. The thing about me is, with me, what you see is what you get. So if I tell you I was a curtain puller for the theater company, I was a curtain puller. And my friend looked at me years ago and he said, I was feeling down on my heart because, I was just a curtain puller for a theatrical production we were doing at the time. And he said, without you, nobody can see the show. Nobody would see the show because, of course, you pull the curtain to, you pull the curtain open. And the more I think about it, he was right. And over the years, I became a tech geek. I developed all the special effects for the theater. The thing was, I never, performed on stage, but behind the scenes, I was making everything happen. So no matter what your role is with theater or music or or entertaining somebody, you always have a way of being a part of a production. You're always a part of it. You're always a valuable asset. And he really put things into perspective for me when he said, without you, nobody can see the show. And I think that without you and your love and support for these Descendant stars, none of this would have ever happened the way that it did this past summer. Because this past summer was the greatest summer of my life. Not only having the honor of talking about Descendants of Zombies and reviewing the Worlds Collide Tour. I know that a lot of people showed up at the Worlds Collide Tour to criticize it, and my heart was broken for the people who went to see the Worlds Collide Tour who were subject to this kind of thing, probably sat next to a critic with their piece of paper and their pencil taking jot notes, and I really hate that, about how people stand on the sidelines and they start taking notes while you're talking. That really irritates me, because that doesn't show an appreciation for the performances, it doesn't tell an appreciation for the story, it doesn't tell me anything about that person, only the fact that they just want to criticize everything. I'm sure you've seen what I'm talking about, how you're sitting there in the crowd, you're enjoying the Worlds Collide Tour, and you've seen people standing up in the corner starting taking jot notes about a performance of Kylie Cantrell or Malia Baker, and it's really frustrating. That's why you never see me with a cue card. That's why you never see me with a piece of paper in front of me reading off a piece of paper. I really don't like that about videos, because I think that if you're going to record a video about Descendants of Zombies, you got to show up, you got to really present a case and a point as to why you're a fan of Descendants of Zombies. Tell everybody why you're a fan of Descendants of Zombies, why it inspires you. For me, it was about the story, and how these characters could create a story from out of nowhere and take us on this incredible journey that lasted for over a decade, and left us felt more inspired than ever before, because I don't think a Disney Channel franchise was ever able to do it in the profound way that Descendants of Zombies was. No matter who you were a fan of or could remember being a fan of. Kylie Cantrell, Malia Baker, Ruby Rose Turner, everybody was a fan of Descendants of Zombies for a particular reason. Maybe it was because of the story of zombies, how a girl fell in love with a zombie when she least expected it. I don't think that on her first year of senior year, she thought she was going to fall in love with a zombie and have the honor of spending the rest of her life out with a zombie. I mean, nobody ever expects that, but I think it happens to us more than we ever give it credit for, because I think that more people are zombies in this world than ever before, especially with how crazy the world is getting. People are zombieing out them, they're probably giving themselves credit for. And I think that because we see this happening every single day, every single time that we watch a Zombies chapter, or we see the Zombies franchise played out from beginning to end over in our heads time and time again, we think about our own lives. And I think that's what drew everybody to Descendants of Zombies, was how we could relate to our own lives about what was happening in the zombie script. I mean, many times Zed and Addison, were presented with conflict, but that's what created a story. They would separate, they would try to figure out their place in the world, if they really belong with each other. And that was what was so beautiful about this story, was they found out that they really did belong together, because they tried it with other people. They tried relationships, tried to create storylines with other people, tried to, create chemistry. But that was what was so undeniable about Victor and Nova, were as soon as they stepped into a room, everybody knew, the writers and producers knew, they were going to be something special, and were going to offer something special to this franchise. For me, it was the song Dreams Come True, Rewrite the Stars, because we knew at that moment that after seeing each other in a reoccurring dream, they were going to have the honor of carrying on the legacy and the lineage of the Zombies franchise that had meant so much to Milo Manheim and Meg Donnelly. And that's what stood out to me. As a writer and producer of Descendants of Zombies, in a franchise that's so revered, and became so revered because of each and every one of you, and more people know who Milo Manheim is because of each and every one of you, because I got to be honest with each and every one of you, I didn't know who Meg Donnelly was before I met each and every one of you. Because of you guys, Meg Donnelly became such a valuable part of my life. Because of you guys, Kylie Cantrell became a forever part of my existence. And now I can't go on without talking about Meg Donnelly and Kylie Cantrell every single day without knowing that I uploaded at least one video for you guys, because I know how much the franchises mean to each and every one of you. So as a writer and producer of Descendants of Zombies, you really got to think about the fans and how the fans feel about what they're watching, because the thing you've got to realize as a writer and producer of Descendants of Zombies, to really bring this to life, you've got to understand how much the fan appreciates it, how much the fan has dedicated he or she's life to talking about Descendants of Zombies, because guys do love Descendants of Zombies just as much as what a girl does. Now, I know 95% of the audience is a girl, and I think knowing that your audience is 95% girls comes with a greater appreciation for talking about Descendants of Zombies, because a girl is very passionate about what she loves and what she believes in. So because a girl is very passionate about what she loves and what she believes in, you've really got to be on point. You've really got to know everything there is to know about Descendants of Zombies. So I've spent hours researching what Meg Donnelly's favorite color was, what Kylie Cantrell loved to spend her money on, which was LA merchandise, which I thought was really cool. How that girl can go out and spend $500 on an I Love LA t-shirt or an I Love LA hat and wear it and sport it around like it's the best thing in the world and have such a fashion sense. You know, for me, being a guy, I appreciate that more about a girl than perhaps a lot of guys do, because the thing is, to understand a girl, you've got to pay attention to what she loves, what she's interested in, because her interests really define her for the person she is. And if buying LA merchandise is what makes Kylie Control happy, then more power to her. If recording dance videos of herself for TikTok, these funny dance videos, is what makes her happy and puts a smile on her face, then I support that. I don't find time in criticizing Kylie Control because she believes in what she does and she feels the way she does. Because every girl is the same. All a girl ever wants to do is make the people she surrounds herself with happy, make the people understand her better than what people perhaps do before ever meeting her. And I think that if you understand that about a girl, more relationships will work out for the better, and more people won't be zombieing out than ever given credit for. We're coming up on Halloween this year, and I think more people are zombieing out because they're not paying attention to how a girl feels or what a girl prioritizes in her own life. And I think it's just all about, you know, reaching a mutual understanding in a relationship. And I know that a lot of people feel misunderstood and they'll never be accepted, but the thing is, that's what the challenging thing is about life, and that's what makes life so unpredictable and so fun, is that you never know what's coming next. It kind of just creeps up from behind you. And when you least expect it and you turn around, there's love staring you right in the face, because true love has a way of creeping up on somebody even when they least expect it. And that's kind of how Zed and Addison had everything play out for them. They didn't know what the future had in store for them, but that's what made it so fun watching zombies. You never knew what was coming next, or quite what to expect. And then these beautiful friendships that, you know, first started off a relationship became the most revered relationships of all time, and two of the most revered power couples in Disney history happened, Zed and Addison, and of course Victor and Nova, who are going to do a fabulous job carrying on the legacies of these stars, which is really incredible and something really excited about. I'm really excited about the future of zombies because I'm just like each and every one of you. I don't know what's inside of that vortex. Now, I voluntarily offered to jump inside of this vortex to uncover its mystery. But that's the thing about a vortex. You know, it's usually associated with doom and the end of time. And that's what's really intriguing about this. Association with doom and the end of time means that there could be anything inside of this vortex. It doesn't necessarily mean there are mermaids inside of this vortex, but I have to be honest with each and every one of you. Even though it doesn't mean necessarily mermaids are inside of this thing, I would love to see mermaids inside of this thing, because I don't think Disney has ever had a franchise that's inspired by mermaids, or ever had been inspired by mermaids. I think Aquamarine years ago was something that Nickelodeon tried to produce that was inspired by a mermaid, and I think Sarah Paxton did a great job with that, but I don't think I've ever seen a live action having anything to do with a mermaid ever before, only the live action Little Mermaid years ago, and I know how people felt about that. But I chose to give Halle Bailey the benefit of the doubt because I think that she did a beautiful portrayal of Ariel. I think that Anna Kendrick years ago from Twilight fame would have been a fabulous Little Mermaid. I think Kylie Contrell would have done a great job as the Little Mermaid live action. I think there are so many opportunities out there for your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars to have bestowed upon them, like how Ruby Rose Turner has forever expressed a passion to want to play the live action Rapunzel for the live action Tangled. This is a live action that I really think Disney cannot afford to make any mistakes with because of how revered Rapunzel is and how everybody knows who she is. She's really one of those iconic princesses that I'm really excited to see brought to life, because believe you me, I would be the first guy in the line at the theater box office to buy a ticket for the live-action Tangled. I would be the first guy to buy a ticket for the live-action Tangled because I'm so passionate about Rapunzel. There's just something about this girl having so much curiosity and wanting to have so much fun with everybody in life and really bring this one to life that I think that somebody who's just as passionate as what you are, being a fan of Tangled, has to play that princess and has to feel the same way that you do. Because I know how it goes. You know, the first time you saw Mandy Moore bring that character to life and lend her voice to the character Rapunzel on the songs I Can See the Light and Wind in My Hair, you fell in love with that character. At the Capitan Theater in Los Angeles in 2010, that went on to become the most revered Disney classic of all time because of how many lessons we learned from Rapunzel and just how valuable and how precious life is. But you know what makes life so special? Is your friends and your family and all the moments that you create. That's what makes life so special. You know, life seems to be very short sometimes and very short-lived, and life feels like a dream sometimes. You know, one of my friends looked at me one day and he said, you know, life really feels like a dream. You know, what's the real meaning of life? I think it's about the friendships that we meet and we have and that we create and all the moments that we share with the people that come into our lives when we least expect it, because everybody plays a critical role in each other's lives. You may not think it, but everybody does play a critical role in somebody's life, because the way you touch somebody's heart is what matters at the end of every single day. The impressions you leave behind you and your legacy that you leave behind. That's what the meaning of life is. And I've always wanted to leave a legacy behind. And I've also wanted to ensure the legacies of your favorite Descendants and Zombie stars, because there is no greater honor that I could ever have than sitting in front of this microphone talking about Clarke and Ruby Rose Turner, and setting them up for an undeniable future. Because I think their futures are something to be really excited about. I get that from Ruby Rose Turner singing songs like Mirror and Life is Sweeter When You Are, because she sings them with such passion. And I don't care who they are. You can put anybody's voice on the song Life is Sweeter When You Are, but nobody would ever be able to bring it to life the way Ruby Rose Turner has. Because people remember Ruby's voice being a part of that song, lending her voice to the lyrics. And she brought it to life in such a way that this song was so magical. It had a greater appreciation shown for 12 or 13 characters, Aladdin and Jasmine being some of the few. And I think that, when you talk about a story for Descendants of Zombies, seeing Aladdin and Jasmine, or whatever the tagline was, the thing was, it got me thinking about how much of a story they could offer to the Descendants franchise. And you talk about storylines, well, Aladdin and Jasmine's story is a storyline on its own. And I think that story between Aladdin and Jasmine could make up probably 2 or 3 Descendants movies in its own right. The story of Alice in Wonderland could make up to 5 movies in Descendants' franchise, because in all honesty, there's a greater appreciation for Alice in Wonderland. And I may just be saying that because I have a greater appreciation for Alice in Wonderland. And when it came to the Alice in Wonderland characters, if there was a guy that thought they were adorable, they thought they were fun to be around, it was this guy. I always had a greater appreciation for the teacup ride at Disney World. I always had a greater appreciation for the Disney Infinity lineup of Alice in Wonderland characters when Disney Speedstorm came up with a new season on Alice in Wonderland characters. I certainly hope that's not a zombie apocalypse happening outside my house. I do apologize for that. Ever since I moved into this house near a soda plantation and a chemical plant, you never know what's going to happen from one moment to the next. And of course, we are less than a week away from Halloween now, so you never know what's going to happen from one moment to the next every single time I record a video. So I do apologize for things passing by my door there. I hope that's not an army convoy. But that's the thing you have to expect when you live near a soda plantation and a chemical plant. The thought of it exploding at any given moment, and then you hear stuff outside your window. That's why I've always put it out there that I would love for the Descendants cast to come visit me, and we could shoot Descendants 6 in my backyard, because this is a beautiful location. The leaves are falling off the tree now. It's autumn. And I remember reading an article years ago about how Dove Cameron was so appreciative of autumn and how much she loves autumn. And, I can understand how she feels about it, because when you see the leaves falling off the trees and the beautiful colors, the leaves changing color, everybody's so happy about Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas. Everything happens all at once around the holidays. So you have Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, New Year's. It's so fun. And the greatest honor of my life this year is going to be able to spend Christmas and New Year's with each and every one of you. And I'm really excited about that. I love the festive times of the year, and I love how your favorite Descendants characters always bring it to life, and they do it with such passion. That's the thing about Clarke and that always stands out to me, is how she does it with such passion, and she's so appreciative of being in your presence every single time she does it. So do I think she deserves to be criticized? No, she doesn't. Do I think she deserves the best life possible? Sure she does. Because it's all about the moments and the friends that we surround ourselves with, and that's all Clarke and ever wanted to do. Be around people she loves. Be around her friends. So should we criticize her because of that? No, we should be supporting that, and that's all I've ever wanted to do. Guys, seriously, thank you so much for making this an incredible year for me. This has been the greatest year of my life, a year I will never ever forget, because I had the honor of meeting so many wonderful people because of these videos that I've uploaded about Descendants of Zombies. And the cool thing is, the future is very unpredictable, and we don't know what's coming next in this franchise, and I have never been more excited to be a fan of Descendants of Zombies. And I've uploaded my first show at just after 9:01 a.m. this morning, because I'm a huge fan of Descendants of Zombies, and I can go on for forever talking about these franchises and how they forever and always held a special place in my heart. So if you haven't rang my bell, you're probably going to want to do that, because each time I upload a video, you'll get notified. And of course, don't forget to hit my like and subscribe button, because there's always a opportunity to have a conversation about Descendants of Zombies and talk about things like Tangled and being turned into a live action, and Sabrina Carpenter playing the role of Rapunzel, which is something I'm not really going for or felt intrigued by. I know Sabrina Carpenter has forever been discussed about playing the live action Rapunzel, but as long as Ruby Rose Turner is out there, I will forever advocate for Ruby being the live-action Rapunzel, because I think there's a girl that can bring it to life. It's definitely got to be Ruby, and I think that there are more opportunities out there for people like Kylie Contrell to witness, and for us to be a part of, because Kylie's just so appreciative of life. That's the thing that I get about Kylie Contrell, and I love her so much because of it. Guys, thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's been a blast. I will have another podcast for you coming up in just a few hours from now. So if you have not seen any of my videos, check them out in my archives, because there's something on this YouTube channel here for everybody. Check it out, man. Over 500 videos have been uploaded about Descendants of Zombies, and I couldn't be more honored to upload these videos for each and every one of you. Guys, seriously, thank you so much. Guys, stay calm and zombie on, because we will make it through life. We all have a light. It's just a matter of when, where, and how we find that light. But don't worry. As Cloud said many times in Final Fantasy fame throughout the years, we all have a light. We just have to find that light. Guys, thank you so much. Be kind to one another, because kindness goes a long way in this world, because life really is that much sweeter when all of us are. Thank you so much.